What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to be prepared for your next roadside emergency situation. Stay tuned.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed. Life destroyed. Until I woke awake, scream my mind. I shout the ground shakes.
FI indicator light. Lucy, what's going on? What's that code is? What the fuck did that say? T35. Oh, 32. 33. 34. 35. 32. 34. 35. Okay. Alright, Lucy. Let's figure out what that is. T32, 33, 34, and 35. And my throttle position sensor. Is it floating? Or is it just my bad eyesight? You know what? It's just my bad eyesight. Okay. We're there. Alright, Lucy. I'll fix you. What the hell? Just lost power. What the hell was that? Am I throwing any codes? I don't got no codes thrown. How the hell did I just lose power? What the fuck is going on here? Alright, let's hit the flashers. See if we can get this bitch off the freeway. Not the best area to break down.
What's up, guys? Chemist back at it again, cooking up another DIY for you. Today I'm going to be showing you the tools, tips, and tricks on how to get your ass off the freeway or in a tough situation when your bike has broken down and left you stranded. Now, I've been riding for about maybe 10 years now, and over the course of time, I've learned to realize that there are things that you are going to need to get you out of that tough situation, and many of these tools that I have here in front of you are some of those things that have helped me get off the road and get to a gas station or off the freeway and get to a safe location to where I can actually inspect the bike, see what's going on, see if I need to call for Freeway Protective Services, FPS, and additional things. Now, I've gone through things like flat tires, I've lost a chain, I blew a tranny gear, what else? Rough idle, just various different situations that have occurred over time in the 10 years that I've ridden. So I kind of want to make life easier for you, and if you're a new rider, this would be great to have in your arsenal of tools. Now, we're going to get to this part right here later, and believe it or not, all this stuff does fit in the trunk of the tail section of your bike. And yeah, I know it's a lot of stuff right here, so but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do that in a little bit. But we're gonna move over to the bike in a bit, and we're gonna look at some of the things that I have actually physically done to the bike to help me troubleshoot a lot of the situations that I've gone through. So give me 1 second while I set that up for you. Alright guys, so one of the most important things I think you should have as a must is a battery indicator. Now, I've installed this right here, and I've had it for years, ever since I had it started having issues with my stator. Now, why is this important? Well, for one, as soon as we begin our ride, before we even actually turn on the key, I flip the switch on, and I know instantly how much battery voltage is in that battery right now, 3.1, and I know I'm good to go. I can start the bike right up. But what's most importantly about this is that when you start the bike and your stator starts kicking in and charging your battery system, it instantly lets you know that your stator is working. So before you even actually head out for that ride, you're getting real-time data up front letting you know that your stator is working. Now once you start the bike, this should kick over to about 14.2 14.4 volts, and that lets you know that your stator is working. If you didn't know that, realize that you are going to be stranded somewhere later on down the line when your battery runs out of juice. So that is one of the most important key aspects of having a battery voltage indicator. Alright guys, so moving underneath the seat, you can see my bike may or may not have things that you may have. So for one, the Shorai battery. Now I've gone through 3 batteries in my lifetime with this bike. Had the bike for about maybe almost 9-10 years now, and in that course of time I have gone through 3 lead acid batteries, and those are the stock OEM batteries that come with the bike. And by far the Shorai has beaten those batteries out in every aspect. For one, it is much lighter than your typical lead acid battery. We're talking pounds difference. So if you're that guy, that sport rider who wants to add reduction or weight reduction to your bike, then this is the way to go. This battery has never left me stranded since I've purchased it. Charged it, it actually came charged when I first purchased it, and haven't charged it since. The Shorai battery, I highly stick by it. It is a great product, and you will see if you purchase yourself one, it is well worth the money spent. So if you haven't gotten one, I highly suggest you pick one up, and maybe I can provide a link to the site in the descriptions below. Additionally important, I have aftermarket lights on my bike, and we'll go ahead and move aside here. So I got a glow kit going on my bike, and it's very important that you fuse that glow kit. Now this is a self-rectifying fuse that I have purchased here for that glow kit. So anytime I run into an issue with my lights where it's going to break the fuse, this will break and reheal itself on its own. So this is a 12 volt 30 amp fuse right here, and this is specifically for any type of lighting that I have put on my bike, and that's a great thing to have. It saves you money on fuses. Speaking of fuses, if you haven't done so already, I highly suggest that you prepare yourself for a burned out fuse. I keep this fuse box here with extra fuses for the bike, and that's just in case I burn out one of the main fuses. The bike does come with a fuse, a 30 amp fuse right here for the starter, so that's always great to have. If you don't have one here, you should have one in there. You should go out and purchase one and put one in here. If not, do what I did and purchase yourself various fuses and keep them stored in here. Alright guys, so what happens in that situation where you're out for a ride, you go and park your bike and you stop for a meal or something of another, and you come back to your bike and the bike won't start? That won't happen because I have a Shorai, but in your situation, if you need a jump, how do you do so? Do you have the tools to actually remove the seat and get to the battery so someone can provide you a jump with some jumper cables? Or do you prepare in advance for that situation? And that's what I've done right here. If I ever need a jump, I know that I can strictly come to this portion of my bike, and if somebody has some jumper cables, we just go ahead and clamp it, the positive onto here and the negative onto here, and I can instantly get a jump and get me going if my stator is working. But what I've done is I've put a battery post right here and drilled it into the plastic, and this is ran from the positive lead of the battery right here, and this is obviously the frame of the bike. We don't actually have to run a wire to it, and this is nothing more than a terminal connector just like this, and there's actually a hole right here where you can mount in a bolt. And what I've done is just placed this terminal connector there, and I can spin it out and someone can provide me a jump and get me home. So always be prepared and do stuff like this so that you don't find yourself in a predicament. Right, so chugging along down the further tail section of the bike, as you can see, I have a switch right here. What's this switch for? Well, let's say you're chugging along and all of a sudden your bike throws an FI code and the light comes on, you see the FI indicator, and you're wondering what the hell it could possibly be. Well, during that ride, once I get that code, I just simply flip the switch and this automatically puts the bike in dealer mode, and I can see that in real time. I can see that code in real time on the instrument cluster. It'll let me know either it's the C28, which is the notorious code for these bikes, or it lets me know if it's another code such as the injectors or an injector problem. But instantly, I don't even have to get off my bike. I just reach back underneath here, flip the switch, and the code is being displayed on the dash. This is a great tool to have. Even if you're just working in the garage, you can instantly know, flip it into dealer mode from right here. And how this is connected, this is just basically on a toggle switch, and it's wired to the connector underneath the seat, which is under here. And if I zoom in closely, you can see the actual connection taking place. So I highly recommend, this is one of the must-haves that you need if you are going to troubleshoot something on the side of the road. And this has saved my butt quite a few times. Now, one of the other things that follows this is I also keep a snapshot on my phone of the codes that are associated with the dealer mode. So maybe I'll post that up right here for you so you guys can see, and keep that on your phone. This way, if you do this mod, that you know instantly what's going on once you pull off on the side of the road. Take note that once you turn off the bike, that code is lost and gone. So if you are experiencing an issue and you went and you pulled over on the side of the road, you turned off the bike and no more accessory is on, that code is gone. So you're going to want to see that code and know what's going on with your bike at that time, because it might not be displayed later on in the future for you to go ahead and troubleshoot. So it's good to know on the fly what is going on with your bike. Alright guys, so before I get into this mess, let's talk about how I'm able to transport all this stuff right here on my bike and not store it in my backpack and carry it every single day. So what I've done is, in my trunk here on the back side, is I've modified my trunk. I took out the plastic divider piece that is gone in here, and I basically sanded it down with an angle grinder, a 90-degree angle grinder, and I made myself a little storage area where I can keep all this stuff in here. Now take note that there's plenty of room in here, and I also even have my power commander in here as well. So I'm able to house all those tools just inside my trunk area. And before I actually, started with all these tools, this was actually my storage area to carry myself like a can of Red Bull, 2 cans of Red Bull in the morning time. I used to have to go to work and be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted a way before I actually created myself a tank bag. You can see that in my arsenal of videos, how to create yourself your own tank bag. But I used to carry my drinks in here and just transport to work. But since then I got a little smarter about things, and like I said, made myself a tank bag, and I'm able to carry my lunch and stuff and whatnot in my bag and keep my required tools just in this area. So this is a lot of room to work with, and all I've simply done was grind out the plastic that was in here with an angle grinder. You can use a razor blade if you want to cut it out and then sand it down smooth. And I basically got myself a piece of cardboard from an old beer box, Corona beer box, and I lined it with some carpet to give it a nice clean finish in here. So I highly recommend that you do this mod if you want to be prepared in the future for future breakdowns, and just have your tools in an accessible area if need be. Alright guys, so let's get to the juicy stuff, the stuff you've been waiting for. What you see here in front of you will most likely get you out of any predicament that you have in an emergency situation. Now, most bikes, and most of you may or may not have this, if you've bought your bike from off of a person, off of Craigslist and whatnot, you may or may not have this. And this is a pouch, a toolkit that came with the bike when it first rolled out from Suzuki, and all these things that you see right here are all what was inside that pouch. Now you can find these on eBay, and they run for like 15-20 bucks on eBay if you look at it. I'll see if I can post that up in the descriptions as well. But this will get you out of most any jam that you have going on, aside from things like engine, or maybe you threw a chain and you lost your chain on the freeway. Those are specialty tools that you are going to need, and I keep those readily handy here at the house in my toolbox, so that in case of that situation, in case like a chain break, and I actually found the chain, was able to recover it, I just simply have some things in my toolbox readily accessible and labeled, so that someone can come and bring it out to me, and I'm not finding myself needing to call for a tow truck, which is going to cost you a shit ton of money. So to be prepared for most of these situations, you should have the OEM Suzuki toolkit that came with the bike, and that's what this is right here. Now we got tools in here. If you're not familiar with the toolkit, this is the spark plug adapter that you need to remove your spark plugs, and it's great because it's got the swivel on it, and it allows you to get into the tight situations between 1 and 4 spark plugs because of this swivel on here. We got a breaker bar which fixes to any of these handles, so that you can get some leverage going on here. We got this wrench, which is a 12 and a 10 millimeter on both ends here, and if your bolt has ever come loose on your bike on the rear wheel where you need to tighten it up, that can get you out of the pinch right there. We also have the larger nut in case this has ever gone loose on you and you don't actually have this cotter pin in place, you've lost it. This automatically goes on here, and you can tighten up that bolt, tighten up your wheel if that is loose. This one is the smaller version. I'm not quite sure where it goes. I believe it's for the sprocket for the pickup, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't found the use for this one just yet, but I need to go into the book and research that, or research it online. When we got additional wrenches, a 17 millimeter, and here's a 10 and 12 that I just went over. This all is inside this kit right here, and it also comes with a pair of pliers. Now, what I've added to this kit, and what you should add to your kit, is zip ties. What happens if you lay that bike down and your fairing is hanging some plastic? Well, these zip ties will come in handy, get you out of that situation where you can zip it up and ride off to the next location, or where it's safe. Okay, so what I also have here is some Allen keys, and these Allen keys are 2 Allen keys that fit all the Allens on the bike. So if I need to remove a plastic, I can remove one of the side fairings or anything to do with these Allen heads. I can also remove the seat if I need to remove the seat. I can also remove the bolts from the tank and lift the tank up. Okay. So that's always good to have. This also, the larger one that I have here, also tightens down the bar ends right here. Okay, so if your bar end is ever loose and you feel like it's going to drop off, you can just reach back into your bag, tighten that bad boy up, give it one quick turn, and you're good to go. Okay, so that is a good tool set to have, and if you don't have one, I highly suggest you pick one up off of eBay. Maybe, like I said, if I can provide you one on Amazon or eBay, I will put the links in the description below. But another good thing to have is one of these, and you never know when you're going to need a good set of pliers in here, or a small knife, and this is good to have on the fly. So that is also stored inside here along with a Phillips. Okay, moving to a smaller piece right here, I keep a small screwdriver in here, and this is for on the fly adjustments of the idle. Now if we move over to the bike, you know that your idle adjustment screw is down here. Let's see if I can get the camera to, no, I guess not. Your idle adjustment screw is down here, and I can simply reach that and adjust the idle if my bike is idling rough by just simply moving it up. So that's a must-have tool as well. I found myself using this 2 or 3 times for poor idle. So moving this aside, let's go ahead and move on to this section over here. Okay, so let's start with the bungee cords. Now, why would you need bungee cords? Well, for many reasons. For one, let's say something broke and you just happen to need to hold it in place. Well, you can stretch a bungee cord to hold your fairings up if you've laid your bike down from one into the other. Let's say it broke in half in the middle right there, and you don't have a way to actually fixate your zip ties or fix your zip ties without a drilling the plastics together. Well, you can simply just put a bungee there and hold it from one spot to the other to get you to your next location, or you can simply use your tools to remove that plastic, discard it, and ride the bike home. But one of the most important things to have is this bungee, because let's say you have to get into your tank. So you have your Allen keys to remove it, to remove the 2 screws that hold the tank down in place. But now how are you going to get that tank up and hold it in place to work on it? So you get yourself a bungee set and fix your 2 ends right here, wrap your bungee around, lift your tank up, and now you can wrap it around those 2 things and work inside the engine on the fly and not have to worry about it falling down on you every single time. So a bungee set does come in handy, and I highly suggest that you pick these up, size it before you actually go and store it away. But I use this bungee set, to work on my bike every weekend pretty much, and they do come in handy. Alright guys, so let's move over to the remainder of the stuff I have here in front of you. What we got here is the DYNAPLUG set, and this is an actual kit for a flat tire roadside situation. Now, this is a great kit to have, and I plan to do a review on it in the future. Just haven't got around to it. But if we take a look at what's provided in the kit, this aside, and we can move this aside right here. In the kit, you get this nifty little pouch, which stores all your stuff in here. Very nice, conveniently out the way, so it's all housed in one area. What we have here is a hand-sized air compressor. This is great to have, and it does work. It's really loud, but it will fill up your tire once you repair the tire on the roadside. So with that kit, it also comes with this air hose, which connects to the bottom of this spigot right here, and the other side screws onto your tire. So this is great to have in a roadside situation where you have a flat tire. It also comes with a pencil style air indicator, which actually connects to right here, so you don't actually have to remove this from the tire. You can actually just go ahead, put that on there, and lets you know how much pressure you've added into that tire. So good to have right there. Along with that kit comes a plug, and to give it power, which is connected on the back side right there. So this plug adapter, and you need to be prepared in advance if you don't have my setup that I've talked about earlier, but they give you an additional connector that connects to your battery right here. You just simply tuck this away, and then in the situation where you actually need the device, pull it out, pop it open, plug in your extension cable, and then plug in your extension cable the other end into the compressor here. Now let's say you're in a situation where you need a jump, and they provide you jumper cables. So being that this is already connected to the battery, you just simply connect up one end of that and with your extension, plug it in, and now you can get a jump from a car or another bike if you're riding with somebody. They also give you an additional plug here so that you can plug it into a cigarette lighter type of thing. Over here is my puncture set, also DYNAPLUG, and this is a great tool to have. I haven't had a chance to use this. I've had about 4 flat tires in my history of riding, and I've never actually had to perform a roadside repair, but this is a great tool to have, and I highly recommend that if you pick this up, that you get the one with the larger end right here, because it gives you the extra driving force. If not, the other one that they have, which comes to a point right here, it's going to put a lot of pressure on your hand as you try and drive this into there. But these are the plugs, and it's from the directions that they give you on their website. They do have a full video review on how to perform a plug. It is very simple. So this one actually has a storage location up on the top right here to put additional things in here, and the set does come with a few other things. Let me see if I can get this open for you real quick. So these are a few of the must-haves to be prepared in order to get yourself out of a tight situation where you have broken down on the side of the road. Now, I can literally tear down my bike on the side of the road and perform pretty much any repair that I need to. I can check the injectors to see if one of the injectors is not working. You know, I can or has come disconnected, or maybe the power commander, one of the plugs came disconnected. I can pop open my tank and be prepared for that, you know, and have something to hold the tank up while I'm trying to work on it on the roadside. I have done this 2 or 3 times in my lifetime of riding, and these things are a must-have. So at any rate, this was my attempt to help you guys out. I hope you like this video. I hope you take my advice and prepare yourself for the next emergency situation so that you can get yourself out of that bind. And as always, I will put most of the links in the description below to find most of these articles on either eBay or Amazon. But as always, I'm the Chemist. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and as always, I will see you next problem.